Hi there. Welcome back to the Big Thinkers universe. And today's big thought is what I call 5 by 5 daily success habits. And this might sound a little extreme, but I promise you it is very effective and it works well for me. What I've discovered, and I want to thank James Clear and his amazing book, Atomic Habits, for this, is that we all have habits that contribute to our results. And the thing about habits is we do them whether we're consciously doing them or unconsciously doing them or subconsciously doing them, you decide. But the reality is, habits contribute little bit by bit to the results we get. Now, unfortunately, most people use default settings and they just go through life sort of on autopilot, not recognizing that that autopilot is their habits, their results. So the good news is, I've, through reading Atomic Habits, I've learned that we can create habits that lead to success. And more importantly, we can deliberately create habits. And so, what I realized, big fan of the Pareto Principle, I am obsessed with success. My big aha moment, the big thought that I want to share today is that in any given role, there are 5 habits that if you figure them out and if you perform them daily, which is why I have call it 5 by 5. So let's pretend you're an employee and you work 5 days a week. Every day you make sure you complete these 5 habits. And I love James Clear's thoughts on how to stack those 5 habits. But basically, if you complete those 5 things every day, day in, day out, without fail, you will accumulate success. The key is, and I say this sincerely, most people won't bother. So, my question is, do you want to be most people or do you want to be the ones who find success? Now, the other thing I'll share, I am on a path, I'm on a mission, and I'm not a commission salesperson for John Lee Dumas, but I love his 100-day goal journal. And the aha moment for me, and sorry, I'm not here to violate copyright, but if you look over here, he's got a daily action plan. So there's micro goals we're going to accomplish. So there's 3, and then he's got 5 activities. So in my pursuit for my goal, which we've talked about separately, I want to build a side hustle from scratch that makes $5,000 a month. Spoiler alert, you don't wake up at 5,000. You have to complete tasks in order consistently, habits that get you there. That's all well and good. And maybe you're thinking, okay, that applies to somebody other than me. But the aha moment is every job that you could possibly fathom that is worth doing has 5 habits embedded that if you did those things every day without fail, without hesitation, would get you the result. And by the way, you can apply this to your personal life too. I'm not about, oh, let's just put everything in one bucket. I recognize that as entrepreneurs, we are the total sum of our habits. So, for example, you can be in the habit of, coming home from a stressful day at work and sitting down on the couch and drowning your sorrows in beer or whatever your alcohol of choice is, while binge watching the latest thing on Netflix. Um, and usually, I know a lot of people who don't say they do that, but I know they do that. My question for you tomorrow is: are you further ahead because of it? And if you wake up with a headache, if you're not motivated, if you're frustrated, I would say that those habits probably aren't serving you as well as they could. So I'm not here to be judgy. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but I am here to say if you want different results, do different things. So I'm going to show you something very strange. This is Big Thinker Universe, so I hope you're used to it by now. But basically, what I'm going to show you is how you can use um, AI to help you with your habits. Now, it seems to me that ChatGPT has been a little glitchy this morning. Okay. So I have, oh, that's interesting. Very glitchy. Okay. When in doubt, shut it down and start over. By the way, I used to always say that the bravest person on the planet is the person who would get up on a stage and do a live product demo because software never works the way we want it to. And this seems to be the case. I think ChatGPT might be down. So rather than wasting our time together, I'll just walk you through how I use ChatGPT to figure out what my 5x5 daily success habits are. And I'll film a separate or record a separate recording walking through how to actually do it. But basically, what I do is I look at my role using the Pareto Principle. So let's use an example of I'm a business development expert, and my job is to use LinkedIn to find new prospects, new clients to grow a business. Now, this will tie into my side hustle, so this makes sense. Now, one thing I know without doing any research is that when it comes to LinkedIn, if you don't connect with people, you're not going to get results. It's just not magic, it's not rocket science. If you don't connect with people, you don't get results. Now, personally, my bias is building authentic relationships. So, one of the things I look at with LinkedIn is what do I need to do to build relationships? And spoiler alert, there's no easy button, there's no quick path, there's no shortcut. Relationships require that you build them over time. Relationships are built on trust, trust is built over time. Yes, there are some ways you can accelerate that, but the biggest thing is not coming to somebody saying, hey, I got something I want to sell you, but looking at them and saying, hey, I think this would be of interest to you. I think there's some value. For me personally, I hate it when people make LinkedIn small talk. If you want an end in a conversation with me, start it with hi and then expect me to say hi. And then you say hi back. And it's like, what's the point of this conversation? You've pissed me off. I'm not being petty. It's just if you got a point, get to it. Now, if your point is, hey, I got widgets and I want to sell you a bunch of widgets, you better be clear on why those widgets make my life better. I get a lot of outreach saying, your life's incomplete, you don't have widgets. And I'm like, I don't understand what your widgets do, let alone why I need them. So for me, LinkedIn is a relationship building tool. I'm not here to talk about LinkedIn specifically, but for example, we will use business development expert using LinkedIn, let's say to sell professional services. Okay. So what I would do is I would go into ChatGPT and maybe we can try that. Let's just see if ChatGPT is fully down or just down because I asked it a big question. Okay, I'm getting a big blank dot, so I think that's a sign that maybe it's down. Okay, so what I would do is I would go into ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, I am a business development expert. I sell software or professional services, whatever it is that I sell. My approach is I believe in relationships. I believe in building authentic relationships. So in my case, I don't like cold outreach. I'm not going to reach out to random people. If I did, I'd have a strategy that led to a relationship. But here's my little aha moment. Most of the time, and I see this a lot on social media, we're always about the next, the next, the next. We're always chasing the next client, the next contact, the next this, the next that. What if we took a pause, took a beat, took a deep breath, and said, I wonder if I already know somebody who could use this? So that's my first little secret is I would rather reach out to people I already know, people who are in my network and say, we haven't talked in a while, just checking in. How are you? This might sound weird and manipulative, but when you do it with intention to serve, it does come across as sincere. If it's not coming across as sincere, check your intentions, check why you're reaching out. And this comes from Jay Abraham. If you truly believe that the product or service you offer solves the problem, then you have a moral obligation to get it in front of as many people as possible so that you can help them. Now, for me, we're talking hypothetically, but I would give GPT a little bit of context. So I would say, here's what I've tried, here's what I believe, here are the things that I do. And then what I would do is say, you, ChatGPT, are an expert at the Pareto Principle, and I would like to create my daily success habits, and I'd like to identify the 5 things I must do every day so that I stay caught up on LinkedIn and I build relationships. Now, I always say build authentic relationships because to me, a relationship matters more than a transaction. If I build a bona fide, authentic relationship, I know that we'll do business in time. If I go straight for the transaction, statistically, I have less than 3% chance that somebody will say, ooh, I want to buy that. Now, I don't like 3%. I think it's a low number for the work involved. So I'm going to go for the 100% chance we'll do business at some point versus 3% chance you'll buy my widget today. So using the Pareto principle, I will ask GPT. First of all, I always ask, what are categories of experts who can help me with this? Believe it or not, there are Pareto principle experts, there are LinkedIn experts, there are business development experts. Those categories will come up, among others. Now, within those categories, there are world class experts who I should listen to. And then there's everybody else who, why would I listen to them? They're just noise. So I put on my filter and I'll say, okay, who are the experts in this, in these categories that I should follow? So what I've done is I've eliminated the noise. I've taken out all the random people on TikTok who will tell you what you should do, even though they've never actually done it themselves. The armchair YouTubists who are telling you your life is incomplete without their widget, gadget, whatever. We want to ignore that. What we want is the actual grown-up experts with real world experience who've done the thing we want. If you look at LinkedIn, I'm going to guess that Joshua B. Lee comes up. Hi, Joshua. He talks about relationship building. He talks about adding value. His values align with mine. Therefore, he's an expert I'd want to use. So what we've done is we've got the general categories, then we've got the individual experts. Now we're going to say, ChatGPT, what are some best practices based on our experts? And again, what we're looking for is to filter out the noise and come up with the best practices. Now, the final filter, and the thing about AI, I start very wide and then I get filtered down to, so I go from cosmic down to microscopic. I'll now say, you are an expert in Pareto analysis. What are the 5 things I should do every single day to guarantee my success? And that's the process I use to create the path to success in my journal, my 100-day goal journal. And I would encourage you, and again, you're the adult, you need to look at it and say, would I do this? Does this resonate with me? But think about, if you say, what are the top 5 things I can do to achieve this result using this tool, you'll be better off than if you just sat down and said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be really busy. But what I do, so for the parameters for my 100-day challenge is, what results can I get in 100 days? I want to get from 0 to 5,000 a month. What are the 5 things I need to do every day to get me there? And spoiler alert, I haven't run this yet because obviously ChatGPT is down right now. But basically, my guess is it's going to say you need to connect with X number of people a day. You need to have X number of conversations with those people you connect with or reconnect with. And you need to find ways to add value. That's my guess. That's 3 things. Um, Fourth thing, just off the top of my head, I probably need to invite them to something. If you don't ask, you don't get. And then the fifth thing, I'm guessing, is some version of follow up on the conversations I had yesterday. So if you think about it, again, I will do a video proving or disproving this. Basically, we're looking at reaching out to people, initiating conversations, we're having ongoing conversations, and we're following up on those conversations. And there's an invite in there. So this is what I do. I look at any role and I say, if I just did these 5 things today, I have an hour to do it in. Can I get this done? And will it get me closer to my goal? Now, if it won't get you closer to your goal, why are you doing it? That's genuinely a question. So, 5x5 daily success habits. I'll be doing more of this, but this is how I see AI enhancing humanity is, instead of being busy doing a whole bunch of busy work, let's be laser focused on the habits that drive success. And literally, if you get the right habits, you can almost guarantee success. Thank you.